Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. No patients impacted by KPH flooding incident. The Southeast Regional Health Authority says no patients were adversely affected by Saturday morning's flooding incident in the Accident and Emergency A&E Department and the operating theaters of the Kingston Public Hospital. Confirming the incident, which circulated on social media, SERHA said a defective pressure switch had caused excess pressure on the water system, bursting the water pipes and flooding the departments. It said some services were affected, noting particularly that services in the A&E department were temporarily relocated to another section of the hospital. The pressure switch and the burst pipes have been fixed and cleaned up. Operations continue at the hospital. We have also made arrangements with our health facilities in the health region to accommodate patients if that becomes necessary, said SERHA's Regional Director Errol Green. We are also inspecting the electrical system to ensure no damage has been done, even as we continue to offer health services to the public. Thanks to the hospital staff and the technical team for their swift action to ensure that there were minimal interruptions in our services, Green added. KPH is the largest multidisciplinary hospital in the country and largest trauma center. Retired cop found dead in St. Bet's Market. A retired police detective was found dead in the Santa Cruz Market in St. Elizabeth on Sunday morning. He has been identified as 72-year-old Eric Dawes, a former detective sergeant who resided at Coke Drive in Santa Cruz. It is reported that about 7:15 a.m., the retired cop was found unresponsive and slumped on a stool near a shop inside the market. His body was removed. The police say the incident is being treated as a sudden, unexplained death and no foul play is suspected. 2 shot, 1 fatally on Wildman Street. A 20-year-old man was shot dead during an attack by gunmen on Wildman Street in Kingston on Sunday morning. Another man was injured in the incident. The dead man has been identified as Romain Miller, a mason from Wildman Street. The injured man is a 29-year-old and is also from Wildman Street. Police report that about 10:40 a.m., the men were at a section of the roadway when they were pounced upon by gunmen who shot them multiple times. The police said the men were taken to hospital, where Miller was pronounced dead, and the other man, who is also a mason, was admitted. Another shooting reportedly took place nearby on North Street, but it was not ascertained if it was a related incident. Details of that shooting were not available up to press time. Visually impaired chef celebrates putting children through college. Howard Hibbert envisioned a good life for his children, and being visually impaired wasn't going to prevent him from making that happen. As the 55-year-old Harborview St. Andrew resident and chef celebrated Father's Day yesterday, he was very proud that his children were able to attain tertiary education. I never get the opportunity. I know that education is the key, and I make up my mind from early that whatever my children wanted to do, they have to achieve it, he told reporters. Hibbert was 14 years old when he suddenly went blind and had to drop out of school. He recalls feeling pains in his eyes one day, and 2 days later, while on his way to the doctor, he lost his sight. After numerous doctor visits over the years, trying to determine the cause of his condition, he was given a diagnosis last year of optic neuritis. This is a condition that occurs when swelling inflammation damages the optic nerve, which transmits visual information from the eye to the brain. It can lead to slight blurring or blind spots to complete blindness. Hibbert explained that for the first 3 years of his condition, he was in complete darkness. However, over the years, he is able to glimpse things if they are close enough. Sometimes when the bus passes in the bus stop, I don't see the bus coming, but if it stops at the bus stop, I can see the color and hear the sound. Describing himself as a hardworking, Hibbert was still a teenager when he decided he would not be learned on disability defined the rest of his life. It reached to a stage where I was getting older and I say, I can't depend on my mother for the rest of my life, he said. The father of three shared that he was apprenticed with a potter in Kingston before his skills in the kitchen landed him a job in a restaurant. He started by washing plates and pots, but soon graduated to food prep duties. Everybody knew that I didn't see well, so they tried to give me simple things to do, but sometimes if people don't show up, I had to step up and do other jobs too, he stated. Hibbert said he made sure to take advantage of all the training opportunities on the job, and in 1999, he decided to open a restaurant. However, business was slow and he was forced to shut it down a few months in and was back on the job hunt again. This time, he landed a job at a restaurant in a hotel. I remember when I was filling out the form, a girl say, "Wait, you left your glasses, man?" And me say, "Yes," and she helped me to fill it out, he said, before bursting out into laughter. Despite being visually impaired, Hibbert has never used a cane. He explained that at the time, he tried to register with Jamaica Society for the Blind. He was described as having no vision and as such, did not require a cane to function. It wasn't until 2 years ago that he was declared legally blind, and even now he still chooses to go without a cane. I never let a lot of people know that I can't see. The persons who are close to me, they know. But I never walk with a cane. Everybody who knows me is amazed, he told reporters. Hibbert prides himself on being self-sufficient and competent at his job. He was motivated by the desire to see his two children attain higher level of education than he did. Siobhan, his son, wanted to go to university. And me say, me go fail my children, man, because him can't go university because me can't afford it. So I pushed. I just decided that anything happens after happens. But I'm sure that he's getting in, he said. Hibbert took a loan against his salary and shared that he was never afraid to ask for help. Sometimes him not even have money in him pocket. We could have just muster a little food and send go give him. And when I get paid Friday, I run go pick up a little $2,000 or $3,000 in the bank so that he could get it for the next week, he said. His sacrifice paid off when in 2018, his firstborn graduated from Northern Caribbean University NCU with a Bachelor's of Arts in Mass Communication. And 2 years later, his daughter graduated from the University of the West Indies with a Bachelor's of Science in Nursing. It was rough, but me live to see Siobhan graduate from NCU and Chavanel graduate from UWI. Now and start working, he said. Now the father of three is encouraging other fathers to invest in their children's future, regardless of the challenges faced. Never give up, try and share it. Talk with other people if you must, because the minute you give up, your children will fall off. Your children are so important, they are the future, a proud Hibbert said. Having been a chef in the hotel industry, one of the sectors impacted amid the COVID-19 pandemic, the father of three was laid off, but remains committed to providing for his family. Government beefs up psychiatric care for inmates. Inmates and wards at the Department of Correctional Services DCS are set to receive additional psychiatric care following the completion of the training for 17 correctional officers. According to a release, the officers, along with one civilian staff, participated in the 4-month training program as psychiatric nursing aides. They will join civilians already employed within the correctional centers. Facilitated through a partnership with the Ministry of Health and Wellness, the training was held at the Bellevue Hospital in Kingston and at the DCS facilities. The newly trained officers will help to provide care for inmates and wards afflicted by depression, anxiety, and other psychiatric illnesses in 11 correctional institutions. Director of the DCS Medical Services Unit, Dr. Donna Mitchell Royer-Poe, charged that the graduates to implement mechanisms that will facilitate the treatment and encouragement of inmates and wards within a penal system who are living with mental health conditions. As psychiatric nursing aides, you will be involved in the promotion, treatment, and rehabilitation of psychiatric inmates in the correctional facilities. You will work under the guidance of the psychiatrists and psychiatric nurses and act as a link between the inmates and the community, she said at the recent graduation held at the DCS Lockett Avenue facility. adding that they will be helping to facilitate the inmates reintegrate into the communities by ensuring a referral and medication are provided when they are to be released. She said, "Your observations will be key in assisting the psychiatrists in conducting their assessments to make recommendations for inmates and wards." Chief Executive Officer CEO of Bellevue Hospital, Marcia Mullins Thompson, who will facilitate the sessions, said the training was done for a holistic approach that addressed the physical and psychological well-being of patients with mental illnesses. The CEO noted that the participants were taught to manage the personal hygiene of patients, identify common medical disorders, and provide basic nursing care. They were also trained and certified in the first aid and CPR. The psychiatric component helped them to identify the common mental disorders and their role in caring for these people, she told the ceremony. The course also included de-escalation and restraining of techniques to manage violent and aggressive individuals. The graduation ceremony was held under the theme, "Reaping Success in Difficult Times." Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.